Okay, great. So who thinks they're good at time management? Not a single one of you. Okay, Victor Curry, you shake your head no. What do you think you're doing wrong, or do you not care, perhaps? I don't know.
I'm just terrible at it. I need an assistant.
Okay. Uh, not giving me much
I've
room.
just always like I want to do 27 things at once. So, no. But that's the way my brain works.
Okay. Well, thank you. Lavette?
I think I'm pretty good. I do a lot of time blocking and I'm never late for appointments, which I'm very proud of since, agents have such a bad reputation for always being late. So I am very conscious. Like I put everything in my phone and I also keep a calendar. So yeah, I do. I get up, I start cold calling every morning, 8 on the dot. I make time to, block to send out, little cards to people I've spoken with and follow-ups, but I can always improve because I do forget some things, even though I
Sure.
write it down.
Sure. Well, let me thank you for that, Lavette. I'm just trying to see the comments we had here, if we had any. Uh, oh, there's my meeting stuff, and I'm just trying to go back and see. Kenny's busy starting a wine club. We could talk about that later. Um, and God, there's a lot of chit chat going on in here already. Okay, Brandy says I'm learning, and with a little tear mark. Don't cry, Brandy. There's no need to cry here. We don't want any tears in this meeting. Okay, so you're all welcome to throw some comments in here. One of the things that I actually do, if you look at the first module, is an hour of power, where you're really trying to start up your most productive time. For example, this morning, one thing I absolutely hate doing is accounting and bookkeeping. It sucks. I just don't like it. It's one of those things that reminds me of where flaws are. I don't want to forget anything. I always feel as though there was 1,000 transactions my business had in 2024. So if I break it down from all the little Amex charges to all the subscriptions to all the things that I had to payroll, um, by breaking it down, it actually helps. One of the things that we're going to talk about, and you hear me talk about it a lot, it's one I've gone gung ho on the Pomodoro technique, just really stopping and thinking through what you're going to do over a 25-minute time, taking the iPhone and leaving it outside of the office so that you don't touch the damn thing and you don't doom scroll. Anyone know the term doom scroll? Okay, that's when you go on social media and all you're doing is like looking, it's doom scrolling. So I'm guilty of that. And I'm 56, so that's something it's not just for kids, in other words. Um, so the hour power that is about maximizing your most productive time for high value activities. Somebody give me the high value activities that they have that we could actually talk about. Now, I know nobody wants to answer first, so before I pick on Greg, maybe somebody else could jump out and just shout it out. Marketing, thank God, Brandy. Brandy's like a little shy today. Hopefully, we'll get Brandy to speak a little bit. But yes, marketing is absolutely huge. No need to put a question mark on that. Somebody else give me something. Another high value activity. That this
Lead gen.
lead gen. Thank God, Greg. Lead gen. So we have marketing and lead generation. We'll talk about the differences between the two. What else? What else? Come on, it's not that tough. Before I pick on Terry and then Victor and then Kenny, my YouTube my normal guys. Oh, Heather, I'm gonna pick on Heather too. Don't think you're so safe, Heather. We're gonna get you. What are some time valued things? Some real dollar productive stuff. Come on.
For sale by owners that are
Or
listed
sale
on.
by owner. Fine. There's no, it's what you value, guys. This is not my business. It's your business here. So great. For sale by owner calls. Terrific. Give me some other high value work.
Expired listings calls.
Expired listings called. Great. Terry,
Staying in touch with your past clients. That hour of power thing.
staying in touch with the past clients. Fantastic. So, anyone else have, just give me two more. Come on, we squeeze it right through. Victor, go ahead.
General sphere outreach.
Okay, we'll go with that too. General sphere outreach. One more. Come on.
Client follow-up, active client follow-up.
Active client follow-up. Okay, great. Good news. This is all going into the note taker, and I'm going to give some summaries at the end of this of what you guys said, not what I said. This is important work. And it's important because, my belief is that without revenue, you're dead meat. If you don't have cash flow coming into the business, there's a lot of things that your business absolutely needs. I have to do my accounting, but there's nothing to account for if there's no dollar amount, right? Okay. So if you really stop to think about what is, for me, the most productive high value activity is dollar productive stuff. Make a note of it. That's the module one, the hour power. What are you really going to do in that time? This is, again, not just for me. And if you want to make a notion and speak with me one-on-one, we certainly can. I certainly don't mind giving you 15 minutes for the non-coaching clients. If you want to be able to meet up and discuss this, I definitely want to get that. What is your current most productive hour of the day and why? Who's got an answer for me? Nobody.
I think 10 to 11. That's when I tend to make my calls, my touch bases with people, following up on, I got 3 contracts out right now. I got to figure out where they at. That's just the most gratifying that I know where my business is.
Okay. So Terry, your mission is to block out that 10 to 11. If that's really something, you need to think critically about it. The importance of 10 to 11 cannot be overstressed here. Why? 168 hours in a week, at least a third of that you're supposed to be sleeping. At least that's what the doctors say. You've got a certain amount of leisure time. Let's make it, the other 8 hours. I don't know. Again, some of you work much harder than that, and that's fine, but just go with me on this. That leaves 8 hours in a single day to actually work. You're saying the most productive time is going to be that 10 to 11 of those 8 hours. If you're actually breaking it down into that, most productive to me means you're going to get at least double the work. That's 25% of what's making Terry rich, at least. At least. So guard and protect that hour. I want you to start to think in terms of this. If somebody gets in your way, knock them over. Metaphorically speaking, of course. I don't need to have you get into a fight with anyone. But just understand what the most important hour of the day is. Terry says 10 to 11. I say, and not most important, most productive. I say 7 to 8:30. We'll give myself an hour and a half. I get a lot done in that time in the morning. But again, it's important for all of you to know. What 3 high value activities can you accomplish, Terry, in that hour of power?
3. Well, like I said, check on the status of my deals.
Yep.
I've got 3 contracts out right now. When are they getting signed? That's also a time to reach out to the clients involved in those things to let them know.
Okay.
1, 2, and I'm drawing a blank as to the third one.
Okay. So anyone else, 3 high value activities you can accomplish in a single hour? In order for this to really work, I'm trying to give you a boilerplate that you collectively, agents from the West Coast to the East Coast and even Europe, are saying works for them. What 3 things can you say work in your hour? Hedeka. Give me one thing, Hedeka. Got to unmute. She doesn't want to be picked on, but she's going to. Paul is next. I'm going to pick on, believe me, no one's safe here.
I did something last week, actually, a couple of times. So I just made a small CMA and I went around the block in my neighborhood. I do my walks. So I made it useful and I just put all of them for my neighbors with a note that here's some information about the recent sales in our neighborhood. So for me, that was kind of a combination of making a walk, daily walk, and doing something productive with my work. So let's see.
Okay, fantastic. If it's of high value to you, that's what, again, there's no real wrong answer here, guys. Fall flat on your face. Tell me something stupid. I don't care. It's gonna be fine. But that wasn't stupid. That was very good. Handwritten note cards. Thank God. Okay, Nicole just chimed in on that. She certainly knows that very well. She's sending lots of them out there. What other high value activities, Paula? Help us out, Paula, the Queen of Queens.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late.
Don't. Okay, we'll. You're gonna head up the brawl in the parking lot after this. Go ahead.
Okay. So I don't know what was said before, but obviously, I make a list of what I have to do and people I have to call before I even get to the office or night before or that morning. And I'm just like a paper person. So I just go through a to-do list. If my coach has always told me, make a list of the people that you really want to get in touch with. The hour of power is important. I don't do it often enough, but if as I cross off that list, I'm like proud of my accomplishment, that kind of thing. And if I can't get to the calls and I have to run out and show something, there's just a lot of people that I have in my phone. I can call them from the car, even just to say hello for 2 minutes. Hey, I
So,
was thinking about you.
Paula said something interesting. She's a checklist person. She, like me, I even take my pen. It's so great to scratch that crap right off your list, right? Doesn't it
Awesome.
feel amazing just to, oh God, I got that done. I want you to have that feeling all day long. I think that's great. Okay. High value activities to me is anything that is dollar productive. This is Ed speaking here. The stuff that's actually dollar productive. Alicia's here. She's one of my coaching clients, which is great. What do I always say to her? I want her to pick up at least 3 new people a day. Is she going to? Probably not. None of you necessarily will. But if that's really the goal, if that's really the mindset, I don't care whether they are a butler or a billionaire. It doesn't matter. Obviously, the better you get at this, you're going to get a much more closer understanding of who that person is. And you got to decide, are they a lead? Are they somebody who is likely to be a client as a lead? Are they a lead source like a CPA? What are those people? If you could add 3 people a day, that's it. You won't need any other work in your marketing. Doesn't that feel amazing? If you really truly follow that rule of capturing 3 new people a day, 200 days a year, that's 600 people a year, guys. I'm giving you plenty of time for vacation and weekends. Okay? 600 new people added to the database. It's not that tough. It's not that tough, but we need to decide, all the stuff, the automation comes afterward. We now have a structure where we're adding people to the database and we're recognizing the value of that. We'll talk about means of duplicating yourself, but this is important. Module 2, automation. Good, we're getting right into it. Never do what you could outsource and never outsource what you could automate. So we need to start to get into the whole automation function of what you are doing. Some of you have said to me, but Ed, automation is not, it's not as personalized. You're right. There are things that will fall through the cracks. It can get more personalized, but for the most part, I'm not expecting any real miracles here. If you have a weekly email, which Daniel's going to get out today, please put into the notes if you want to receive it, or if you haven't received it, you could put it into the chat and you could see a good example of a well thought out weekly email. You could just put your email address in there and Daniel will gladly add you. But that's a form of the automation. That's a form of me reaching out to a lot of people at one time when they click and they go somewhere. Or if you have anybody here of Calendly, it's a calendar app. People actually click and register their own time. That's an automation function that normally takes a ton of time. So please stop and think through. If you break it down, that's part of what it could be. Here are the little codes. If you look on the list, automate audit, automation audit, list your daily tasks. A could be audited, C could be outsourced, and P must be personal. I have a friend of mine who's a fashion designer, and she got a review by Vogue magazine and actually sent what's her name? Who's the devil? The editor of Vogue. What was her name? How come I'm forgetting?
Anna Wintour.
Anna Wintour. Thank you, Terry. I counted on you knowing Anna Wintour.
Yeah.
But she sent her a big gift. That was something that she could never outsource to somebody. You can't outsource sending a very personalized. She could send an intern to run and get it, but it wouldn't have been the same if she didn't write and send up the note. She was very clear with me about that. That's just one big example. But there's a lot of other stuff that really can be automated. There's a lot of stuff that goes in there that really can be. You really need to take a lot of time this next month to break down where your bottlenecks are and try and break through that. If you're not having enough bottlenecks, you're not busy enough. Great. We could talk about making you busier, but these are things that you really need to do this. So again, AOP, what could be automated? What could be outsourced? What could be personal? That's module 2. Questions so far? Okay. Creating an SOP. We have a great meeting on your standard operating procedure. Actually, Daniel, if you can, I know you weren't expecting me to say this. If you could get the workbook for creating an SOP and put it up here. An SOP, standard operating procedure, clear objectives, step-by-step procedures, quality control measures, and review and update schedules. The most important thing as salespeople that we can do is to sell. So I want you to try and break this down and be able to get through and think through what you're going to do as a strategy and structure on a day-to-day basis. Really, really important. What steps go into each and every single day? Again, my methodology is not about working your ass off till you're carried out by your pallbearers when you're dead. That's not what this is about. What this is about is really taking a look at the critical side of it and working to the extent that you want to work. Somebody said, Ed, I make $100,000 a year and I'm happy. I'm like, great. That's fantastic. But if you have the need to make several million and you want to bust your ass and try and get there, you may or may not, I don't know. But what this is really about, thank you, Daniel put that out, building powerful SOPs for real estate success. Please download that. I think you guys are going to enjoy that workbook. Kenny Bellini, Hour of Power, plan the day the night before. Good point. That's a really, really good point. I had a clean desk coming in the next day. Again, this is boring stuff, guys. I know that this isn't AI and this isn't the latest prompt that does it all for you. But if you get this right, you really alleviated a giant headache in your day-to-day work. I think that's really important. So 80-20 rule, you hear me talk about this a lot. It's very, very important. 80%, it was Pareto's principle. Vilfredo Pareto was a economist and actually a religious man in Florence, Italy. And he made the observation that he was also a gardener. He made the observation that his pea pods, 80% of the crop of pea pods came from only 20% of the plants. And then as he was walking around talking, he realized that 80% of the properties in Florence were owned by 20% of the landlords. He recognized that 80% of the headaches he gets in life came from 20% of the source, hence the 80-20 rule. Or some people sometimes call it the trivial few and the trivial many and the vital few. If you get down to it, one of the things that I like to do is break down what is that vital 20%. This is a damn good example of the 20%. You guys are really important to me. You really, really are, especially when you look at the people. You hear me pick on some people a lot. I know they like to chat and I'm friends with them. Terry, Victor, Kenny, Paula, Hedika, Alicia. I mean, there's a lot of people that I see over, and all of you too, but these are people that speak quite a bit. You are part of that 20% just by showing up and just by being into it. What is the 20%? What is the 20% of the revenue that's coming in for you? And what is 20% of the headache, the people that suck? I want you to really think that through. I want you to not just like gloss over it, wrestle with this, really come up with it. It might be, I rejected a client yesterday. Because I knew that he was going to be so much work. The possibility of closing, while it is still there, was not worth the effort that I was going to put in. Now, could I be wrong? Could he go with somebody else and buy a $700,000 or $800,000 house this weekend? Sure. But my history has taught me that it was still the right choice to make because I know based on what this guy wanted from me, he was probably not the right person, nor was he anyone that I'd want to recommend to my team for that very reason. There was a time in my career where I wanted to go after each and every single thing, but I've learned to be selective. And so I think that that's really important. List your top 3 revenue generating activities and how much time are you spending on each? I would argue not enough. That you wind up, you think you're working, you're clicking send and receive in your email. There, I'm working. You're doom scrolling. Ugh, I love social media. And boy, does it fuck us up. It really does. I mean, I've got this love-hate relationship with it. On one hand, I get so much out of it. I got a lot of you because of it. That's great. On the other hand, boy, it's really no good. So doing that. Module 5, building your video library. Now, this is very interesting. If you have a procedure, and particularly for a guy like Greg, who has a team, and I'm trying to see, and Paula, a small team, but she's got a team, Terry, growing team. Anyone who has a team, you really should know this. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Um, you could start a video library in Google. I don't know if you have a, here we go. Let me just take a look at this. Here, take a look at this. So I made a simple Google Doc, and you're going to say, wow, why didn't I think of that? Well, here it is. I made a simple Google Doc, and every time somebody on the team has a question about something, I actually either make a video or find a video on YouTube that that has this. Now here, like for example, let's see. Um, I'm trying to find stuff that isn't proprietary here. So here, how to coordinate constant contact. There's a YouTube video. So Daniel, I wanted to show you in constant contact how I want people organized real. So now my team could actually access that calendar, that video library, and they could all go back to this. How to database new members at St. Andrews Country Club. To show you, I'm showing them how to actually go through this. So you're explaining it's a video library. Isn't that genius? Costs no money, and you can how to make an email introduction between two people. What did I say here? This is a long time ago. Okay, so I might ask you to make an email introduction. And that could be a little bit overwhelming because you might not always know what to say. So there, I've actually explained it in the video library to whoever works for me and to yourself. Now, how do you do this? You simply create a Google Doc. There we go. On the top, you could say video library or whatever you want to say. And then every time you add a video, if you want to make a hyperlink, you go in here and you could add a hyperlink and actually apply the hyperlink to that particular line and have it. It's stupid. It's just a simple, stupid thing to actually do, but boy, does it work. Boy, does it work. You've documented everything that you have, and every day when you find something and you forget, or I forget everything, you now have this great resource. Please, please, please. You got your training documentation. If you have a standard operating procedure or some standard process, you could actually make a video. We could go into more videos later next month on how to do it. You could scale your team, and you could have knowledge preservation. You ever work with someone and say, God, I'm never going to work with that guy again, and then a couple of years go by, and that guy or somebody very much like him or her reappears, and you're jonesing for business? Anyone knows what it means to be jonesing for business? You really, really want the money, man. Boy, the tax guy's not going away. Tax day is coming up. Ugh. Okay. It's great to keep knowledge in your practice, to keep knowledge in your business. I'll let you in on a little secret here. As you know, I work the luxury market and I live in a country club. And the chocolate chip cookies, they're okay. They used to be phenomenal. Anyone coming in here now, moving to the club, now this might seem like, well, rich people problems, complaining about the chocolate chip cookies. You're right, it is. But here's the thing. I'm asking people to pay a shitload of money to move in here. And if there is no knowledge of the past of what's gone on, we're not going to be able to maintain the grandeur of this particular community. In society, everyone says, well, I'm doing okay. In the 1960s, there was one breadwinner in the family, and everyone was able to live, and everyone was able to be okay. Today, you need at least two working people within the family to be able to do it. Have things gotten better or worse? Depends. Depends upon how you want to look at it. But these are facts. And when people forget the past, they're condemned to relive it. Santiamo said that. If you cannot remember your history, you are condemned to relive it. Do not forget what works and what doesn't work in the business. Again, video libraries kind of work. Questions, anything going on? You guys can jump in.
Edmund, your videos, I have a YouTube channel that I put all mine in. Do
Great.
you feel that yours is a better place or whatever works best
I,
for people? What do you
I
think?
make unlisted. This is a good thing. God, you asked the question. Unlisted videos. Anybody with the link can access them. Don't give passwords or anything like that. But don't make it listed. If you make an unlisted post, you could have the link, you could put it into a hyperlink, and it's not searchable on YouTube.
Hmm.
So anyone else coming in. Now, if it's corporate secrets, I don't advise you doing videos with too many secrets anyway.
Yeah.
But an unlisted video is fine. And here's the thing. If we use Follow Up Boss, there's plenty of videos already out there on how to use Follow Up Boss. So just get that in, find where your team failure point is. Somebody was arguing with me about failure point. Failure point, embrace the fucking thing. Embrace it. We failed here. Let's fix it. That's all. It's not a symptom of a disease. It's profoundly human. So important stuff. Okay, now here we go. The time ROI tracking. This is the fun part. If you know how much time you're actually putting into something and you know the revenue that's coming in, you could reverse engineer what you're getting paid. For example, if you earned $100,000 last year, you could divide it by the total number of hours that you actually worked. If you say, uh, how many, 2,000 hours divided by 100,000, you got $50 an hour. That's what you were actually making. Did I do my math right? Daniel, check that out for me. Dyslexic moment here. 50 times 2,000. Yeah, I think so. Anybody? Somebody quick? I promised you a good meeting. I didn't promise you perfect math. I think it's that. So it works. I believe that it's $50 an hour at that point if you're working a 2,000-hour week. So all you need to do is reverse engineer these things. At your worst moment when you're prospecting and nobody answers you, and Livette, you're having a really crappy day doing all this stuff, look at what you actually earned and what the actual goals are and say, there is a reason that I'm doing this right now. The problem with being a salesperson and being an independent salesperson in particular, if you don't have a salary, you're looking at this as like, sometimes it's like, okay, I'll put it off. No, you're being paid for that hour. So if you start to track your ROI, you could have a much greater understanding of where that's at. If you want to burn $1 million a year, then $500 an hour. I don't know what metrics you want to put in there. But again, it's on there on your sheet. There's also certain days that you could segment: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Of course, we only did 5 days, but we know that realtors work more than that. You could expand that. What's the activity? What's the time spent? And what's the outcome? Make notes of this. I spoke with somebody who's a member here. He'll go nameless, but he said he works 15 hours a day and he's not getting the results that he wants. And I said, great, stop. He said, what do you mean? I said, you're not getting the results anyway. Stop. You're doing something wrong. This is, I mean, he's living very unhealthy. He's not very happy. And he's telling me that it's a 15-hour day where he's really barely making money. There's something you're doing wrong. You don't have to be a realtor, by the way. If that's it, go get a job and work and earn money somewhere else. If though you want to work in real estate as we do, we could talk about other things. I immediately gave him the Pomodoro Technique and told him that we're going to turn that 15 hours a day into 3. We're going to knock this down significantly. I can't work 3 hours a day. I'm like, for your mental health or for your money? If you say for your mental health, that I'll respect. Your money, I don't, because you're not making money. He got annoyed at me. Okay, fine. Get annoyed at facts. I don't give a shit. But the job here is to help you go from zero to profitability. Let's try and do that. So if you take a critical look at the work that you're actually doing that's paying off, again, it sounds like the master of the obvious. It's shocking to me how few of you actually do this. So tips for success: start the day with a system, one system at a time. Document everything. You've always heard me say this. Document everything. Review and adjust weekly. Share your successes. You could please post your successes on the Rain Nation page on Facebook, or certainly share them with me, coaching clients. I do like to go back and forth with you. Share successes with your team and focus on progress, not perfection. Okay? Really, really important. Done is better than perfect. I argue with this with my wife all the time. She's a professional organizer. Now I have to be perfect. I'm like, you don't. You don't. Again, whatever. That's my wife. Paula, go ahead.
I heard an interesting suggestion yesterday on a Zoom, and I'm like, my head exploded because I've been using my one cell phone my entire career pretty much. And this, trainer kind of person said, I have a separate phone, and she uses a system called Call Rails. There's a couple that are similar, but for like $45 a month, I'm like, this is crazy. But what she does is she tracks where her calls are coming from. And if she, for example, goes on vacation, she can forward that number to someone on her team. Full well and good, but it's just every bit of advertising that I've ever done, which is huge now.
Hmm.
How do you back away from that and change your numbers? It's like a nightmare. I was like, yeah, that's a great idea, but it's too late for me. Maybe for somebody else, it might be a good suggestion that's, maybe hasn't started out in the business. But to back away from my current cell phone number, I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
That it tracks exactly where you go. Like one thing came from the bus ad, another number, can be like from Zillow or from your website, whatever it is. I was like, yeah, that's a great idea because I don't know where some of these leads are coming from. Oh, I saw you and I'm calling you. Where did you see me? Online. Did it come from my Google business page? They never really know. They never remember the customer. So I'm like, okay, fine. I got to leave. Great.
Oh, Victor's all excited here. Victor, why are you so
No,
excited?
it's not more excited. It's just that you can port your current number that you've been using forever over to a service that will do all those things and move that number as opposed to thinking in terms of having losing your business number. You can put the business number with a service and get a new personal cell phone that you only give to everybody else. It's
Yeah,
kind of doing it backwards the way that everybody's doing it. It's
right.
not that hard.
Yeah, it's just
And I
okay.
say that because I know I've done that.
Do you know the name of the service that does that?
And every one of
There's
them.
Yeah, all of them. All of them. You just got to make sure that when you move it, you can always move your cell phone number from place to place. It's just they just call it porting the number, and they just move it over from one to another. I know Element uses Ring Central, and I've got a number that they have. I have another one of my own. You can do it with Google Voice if you wanted to, but I wouldn't because it's not very stable.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So, yeah, something to think about. Like I said, we're not going to be necessarily perfect in any of this, but if you follow even a portion of these ideas, your revenue will go up. I mean, it's not that this is just the time pressure. If you add 25 minutes a day to a particular task that you weren't doing before, 5 days a week, I mean, we're talking about weeks of marketing time that you're putting into something if you're doing marketing or cold calling at the end of a year. It doesn't take that much. I've got a cold calling session with one of my coaching clients. We're doing it one-on-one in person, where we're going to just go through the whole process of cold calling and like, let's fuck it up, screw something up, knock yourself out. Let's see what happens. It's not the worst thing in the world, notwithstanding any local laws that are going on. I want to be very clear about that. I don't want to mess any of you up with some bad legal advice. And then, of course, there's notes and things to actually review. I really wish you would print out this workbook. Again, we put time into it. It works if you work it. You don't have to do it perfectly. None of my stuff here is perfect. And Daniel, of course, put that out. Daniel, please make sure you get everyone's email addresses that put them in that would like to get today's emailer. I want to make sure that they actually get that. Okay, so what else? We got on Friday, I just want to let everyone know we've got guerrilla marketing. This one's actually going to be fun. I've always liked guerrilla marketing. A lot of you have come to me and said that you've got a very limited budget. What can we do? Because a lot of the stuff I talk about, like when I threw the 41st anniversary of my bar mitzvah and rented the ballroom at St. Andrew's Country Club, and I invited 150 people, and I brought in a great pianist who had just graduated Juilliard, and I brought in other food and entertainment, and the thing cost me $15,000. I'm out of my mind. What am I doing with all of this? I made a $210,000 commission off one person that went to that. Was that worth it? Shit, yeah. Shit, yeah, it was. Was it a giant gamble? Was my wife screaming at me for spending the money? You bet. Did it also brand me for other stuff that I'm doing right now? 100%. I took a gamble and I won. I could have just as easily not gotten that person. I could have just as easily gotten something that didn't work out. 41st anniversary. And by the way, for my Jewish friends here, if you are turning an age that you'd rather not, like 54, I was, now I'm 56, you could just say that it's going to be the anniversary of your bar mitzvah. You turned bar mitzvah at 13. That was the 41st anniversary of my bar mitzvah. It worked out really well. I felt so young, made yarmulkes and everything. It was a great time. We really a bitch and disco time. Everyone kind of had a great time. People still talk about it, and the opportunities still come from that. That's on the super high end, but we're talking about on Friday, the super lower end. If any of you want to come to that, please make some posts now in the chat. That meeting is going to be at noon on Friday. That's noon Eastern Standard Time. People like Kenny and Victor, who are out in California, I want to give them a little bit of a break because they're up so early. I'm very pleased to have them here. But all my Californians, I'd like to give them a break. We do have twice a month this meeting on Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, and every week on Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Again, Eastern Time. So what else? Other thoughts here?
Well, Edmund, I'd like to comment on your bar mitzvah. I'm tad annoyed I wasn't invited, but I'll get over it. You have a you have a reputation of throwing events,
Yeah.
which is, you had that great one at the country club that I brought my mom from the West Coast to, and she still talks about that. So having things that you do like that on a semi-regular basis gives you a different reputation than just being another real estate agent. So I've done that for years. Hate you, pandemic, for putting a kibosh on that, but it's gearing up to doing that again because who doesn't like to go to a party, If there's an event and a purpose to it, you look good.
Well, thank you. No, I listen. It one of the things that I am promising here is that I could introduce you to 5 different agents that I know that make $1 million a year plus in the sale of real estate, and they all do it in dramatically different ways. And that's one of the very nice things about this. You want to nerd out with me in AI, which I'm going to do at the end here? Fuck yeah, let's do it. You want a cold call? That's great as well. If you want to go after certain things that are the unspoken, divorce. Ooh. Well, there's going to be a real estate transaction. I hate to break it to you. It happens. It happens more often than it should. There's going to be a real estate transaction. Death.
I was going to remember, I put in one person there.
Okay, I'm just putting that person on mute. Death. People die. It's not your fault. It's not something that's going on. It's not, this is just something that is a reality that somebody is going to be able to get the deal. It should be you if you can. Now, when my mom died and I got no less than 5 calls off of the obituary, it's kind of obnoxious. Didn't like that person very much. There are strategies for trying to build relationships. And again, if this skeeves you out, then forget it. Come to my next meeting. Don't go to that one. But if you are looking at that as a distinct possibility, for example, and I'd be really brief about efficiency here, there are a lot of people in Florida that are getting a little long in the tooth, that are kind of, we're talking about end of life issues. Everyone skeeves out about this, but hear me for a second. Some people will advertise to them when the reality is when they pass away, they're not going to be the ones to sell their real estate. Wow. Never thought of that. What are we actually going to do? Well, you go after next of kin, as those people did. What is the strategy and structure behind that kind of market? Nobody wants to talk about it. You're not hearing any other coaches actually addressing this. This is something that we are going to be embracing this quarter, because the reality is if you don't do it, somebody else is. The property will be sold. And my commitment is to get you to be the one to actually make that sale. Death, divorce, financial ruin. Yay. Sorry. It's just one of those things that actually is something that people death, divorce, departure, debt, downsize. Thank you. Kenny gave us the D's. Brandy's connecting with probate attorneys. Love it. Fantastic. We could talk about all that stuff. So we're going to be doing that. Friday is 12 noon. We've got the mastermind focusing on guerrilla marketing. We're going to talk about taking the lesser road, the stuff that isn't that expensive. And I want you to come to this with some ideas. If you guys want to come up, thank you. Daniel's always thinking. He put that up in he's putting all these things up into the chat. Wants, needs, and brags. Now's the time of the meeting. Talk about what you want, what you need, and what you would like to brag about. After this, Terry's going to sing us out, and then I'm going to stick around for a few minutes and show you tricks on AI that you were afraid to ask, but we could address it here. So
I,
wants, needs, and brags.
I'll brag. I put a link in the chat. I read one book a day,
You read
and
one whole book a day?
yeah,
Like a book or like lots of pictures, like I like it.
I put the link on it. It's summaries of books, 10 to 20 minutes. They're all on health and movement. It's Brian Johnson Optimized. You go to YouTube. I used to pay $10 a month to get, he's got over 500 books summarized on all kinds of great stuff from, Stoic philosophers to mental health to like psychology, a lot of great stuff. Even Stutz, that guy that was a top psychotherapist. And it's a tremendous amount of knowledge. It's, he calls it more wisdom in less time. So you could read these, you could get the information in these books. It's a great talking tool to talk to people, but it's also incredibly powerful for yourself too.
Sure.
On movement, his whole thing is eat, move, sleep. Those are the biggest threes, but just go check it out. There's so many, and it's all free now. Mostly, he's got another program. He's, but called Heroic. But
I'm
check it
so
out.
glad you're mentioning this. Daniel, remind me in a few minutes to put in a chat in ChatGPT how you could summarize any book. I did this for my wife who's got a book club. Shh, don't tell her friends. She didn't read the book. But we got a great summary of the book with all the talking points and all the stuff, and you could pull it right out of ChatGPT. Great stuff. So you could go in and like pretend you know what the hell the book was about.
You big cheater.
It's a big cheater. It's a big cheater. It's listen, as it's again, I said I've got a love-hate relationship with all of this stuff. Brandy, how come you're not talking? My brag. I quit my day job, no reserves, 1125, got 2 baby listings in a month, now working on 2 more. Brandy, can you say hi?
Hello,
Okay, Brandy, who are you and where are you?
I'm in South Florida,
Okay.
and yeah, and I'm Brandy. I work with Realty 100. I partnered with Nicole Miller. She's the one who kind of gave me the information
Love
for
Nicole.
these classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Daniel, we love Nicole, right? Yeah, love Nicole. Okay. Good for you. Listen, Brandy, that is really tough. I get it. And boy, without a safety net, it's kind of scary. But you're
It
doing
was scary. It is scary still.
yeah. Yeah, boy, hey, 56, it's scary. Scares the shit
Yeah.
out of me. Somebody makes a wrong decision politically and suddenly everyone stops or a pandemic comes. I mean, God, what a horrible career. I just love
Yeah.
it, but it's horrible. I say
Just
that.
a lot of aggressive marketing. That's what I've been doing.
Good. Good. Well,
Yeah.
Randy, can you tell us what baby listings are?
yeah.
Oh, okay. So I have like one small rental for like 2,000 a month, and then I have uh
Did we lose you? Brandy? Can you hear me, Terry?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, we lost Brandy.
some people don't get back to me until 3 weeks later, but now I have a 500K deal that I'm
Okay. Well, we heard the 500K deal, but you're a little choppy, but thank you for that, Brandy. And hopefully we can catch up after. Lavette, go ahead.
Hi. So I took a listing on last Thursday. I listed it. This person had been listed twice previous to listing with me. I reached out to her the last time and she decided to go with another agent, and it was on the market for about 3 or 4 months. And I saw it. I didn't even realize I had spoken with her before. I just called her, just a cold call. And she was like, "Oh, Lavette, I was going to reach out to you." So I was like, "Huh?" And then I just kind of typed their name in the dialer. I was like, "Oh, I spoke with her before." So she said, we were going to go with you last time, but my husband chose this agent, and it didn't work out. And she said, I said to myself, if anything, if it didn't sell this time, I was going to reach out to you. So I listed the home last Thursday and I got it under contract 2 days later. So this was the third time being listed.
Awesome.
And yes, it's a great offer. They listened to my suggestions. They didn't want to do the price cut, but I told them, they were a little bit overpriced. And I got their driveway pressure washed for them, and I, took professional pictures and put some plants out in front of the
That's
driveway. Look good.
awesome stuff. Good for you. That's the type of brag I love to hear, Lavette. I'm so pleased to hear you got that. Keep hammering away. I mean, again, we're always as good as our last deal. Who else? Any other wants, needs, or brags? Okay, so our next meeting is on Friday. We are going to, after Terry sings us out, I'll show you a couple of AI tricks if you want to stick around. It makes me want to say to you, it was really great having this today. I hope to see all of you on Friday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time right here on Zoom for another exciting episode of
Rain Nation.
Thank you, Terry. Technically, the meeting's over, but again, if any of you want to stick around, I am going to be sharing some insights into AI. First of all, does anyone have any AI questions that they'd like to address? Now's a good time to ask. Okay, Paula.
Yeah, Ed, on one of your past meetings, you mentioned that like chat can send you updates every morning.
Yes, if you are subscribed to the pro version, not the pro, if you're subscribed to the whatever the subscribed version is called now,
Right,
it's
the $20
$20
a
a
month
month.
version. Right.
There are tasks that you could put into it, which will send you reminders at a particular time. Let me go right to it and show you. Not that, not that. Where the heck is it? Not that. Here, let me go here. Chat. Okay. So now we could take a look. This is the web version of ChatGPT. And if you go in here and take a look, you'll see that when you're actually choosing from GPTs, it says GPT 4.0 with scheduled tasks. Great. Now I could say something like, please look up the latest real estate news, news. I'm going to keep it general here, and deliver to me every day at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And I could put this here. And now it's going to take a second. Creating task. Okay, check real estate news. Got it. I'll deliver the latest real estate news every day at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Now, one of the things that you could say, wow, who cares about that? I'm learning Python right now. I'm learning computer programming. And I have this set up to send me twice a day a little micro learning session here. So topic, operators, explanation. The greater than equal to operator checks if the left operand is greater or equal to the right operand. It returns true or false. Now, again, I don't want to geek out totally on all of you, but just to show you here, x equals 10, y equals 5. Print x is greater or equal to y. Well, x is greater than 10. Print y is greater than or equal to x. One is false and one is true. Makes sense if you really think about it. Now it asks you to go ahead and do this. That's my little less than 5-minute lesson that I give myself twice a day to get just a little bit smarter. It's something that I very much want to learn. Guess what? It fucking works. It's awesome. It's awesome. Oh my God. It's just whatever you want to learn, it's just you could just put it in there. You want to learn French? You want to learn get a little bit better at your sales? Set yourself up for just 5 minutes of learning a couple times a day. So that alone has been great. But Paula, to really go into greater detail here, you're going to be hearing the term more and more agentic computing or agentic AI. Simple word, it means an agent, an AI agent, some type of robot that's actually doing the work for you. People need to be trained. Okay, staff needs to be trained. Daniel just doesn't magically make the weekly email for us. I had to go through this, and there's plenty of mistakes on his end and my end. There's mistakes because we're human and we actually do that stuff. But now he's been with me for 5 years, 6 years, 6 years, Daniel. How long are you with me now? 6 years. 6 years he's been working with me. Never met the man in person. He's all the way over in the Philippines, but I'm seeing him soon. He's coming to New York pretty soon. He's going to come down to Florida. I'm really looking forward to that. But if you really look at all that, what is what are you actually learning and what are you actually doing? Putting this together really does work. Having some type of process really does work very well. Let me show you one other thing. Victor, you had a question?
Well, yeah, you were doing that. I liked your thing of having it pull a summary of news stuff. Does it get around the firewalls and things, or do you have to get subscriptions to all of the
It's
things that
not
it's
going
going
to
to pull
pull
from?
up.
Like
It's not
if
going to
it's real
pull up.
estate news, Real Deal and all those are all overly expensive subscriptions for the amount you get out of them.
There is some tricks to jailbreaking the subscriptions, which if you like, I will have an issue on it showing what you might want to do with a caveat that there may be some legality issues in certain domiciles about how these things are jailbreaked. But that said, no, it's going to just come up with what the headlines are
Headlines.
in the news. But let
You
me
know,
just
I subscribe to Inman and I get a Black Friday deal for $100 a year, and I love Inman. And they have like 5 different platforms of different types of Inman news, and it's like all day long I keep going delete, delete, delete. And I'm sick and tired of hearing about the commission squabbles and all that. So I just delete them. I don't want to read them. But I want the pertinent stuff that's really going to make me smarter or more educated, but I don't want to hear about all the nonsense that's going on or Keller Williams took over this. I don't care about all that. So you have to kind of, read through the noise, and that's what I'm trying to get to, Victor. But I do have some subscriptions, some are free and from it, some are whatever paid for. But it's just like you say, clogs up your inbox, and I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I just want to give it to me like in a nutshell.
okay.
Just the facts, man. That kind of thing.
Just the facts, man. Love it. Let me show another thing here. My dog's just jumped on me here. Hold on. Okay, so we'll go over here now. What's the new? Oh, what is the new book by Brooke Shields? What is the new book by Brooke Shields? Can you give me all the talking points because I have my book club tonight and I didn't read the book. I know I suck. Please give me a comprehensive overview. Okay, so now what is the new book? I don't even know the name of the damn thing. Brooke Shields, wait a second. Brooke Shields is not allowed to get old. So, Thoughts on Aging as a Woman, released January 14th, 2025, offers a candid exploration of her experiences with aging, self-acceptance, and personal growth. Here's a comprehensive overview to prepare you for your book club discussion. And it's given you all this. And by the way, you could drill down into any of these things: advocacy for women's health and self-care, human resilience. And so it really, isn't that neat? Isn't that nice? Maybe, kind of, sort of. I like it. Okay. Maybe that was it. Next, somebody asked me a question so I could like bring you up on a real high note here. What can we do that's making shitloads of money with AI? Come on. Who's got an idea? Anyone? Nobody's got any question. Marty, you've been quiet all meeting. You could jump in. Dora? Yeah. Paul, I'm going to get you in a second. I just want to try and get some of the other folks who might not have. Michelle? Brandy? Anyone? Lavette. Okay, Lavette and then Paula.
No, Paula was first.
Okay, Paula, go ahead.
So the question I have, and you talk about your events, which sound amazing. I've tried events. It's hard to really get people to come out, especially around Christmas when they're busy. We wanted to have a client appreciation. My predecessor, who was sitting right in this chair, who retired, used to have a very successful ice cream party right down the block from me in what we call Carvel, an ice cream store that's very well known. Her event was very well known. Last day of public school here in New York. So she had a huge following about that. It cost tons of money,
What's
and
tons? Define tons.
like $5,000.
Okay, it's money.
It's money. It's not $1,000. If it was $1,000, the problem is you never know how many people are going to show up, and $5 a cone or whatever it is, and then you have to have giveaways. It's not just the ice cream; it's the advertising for it. It's the giveaways, and it just gets out of control. So we've done smaller things.
Okay.
What works in Kentucky doesn't work in New York. You know what I mean? I see people giving away little jars of jam and things like that with branded. You have to do something that's good for your neighborhood. What's going to make people come out? I've heard of movie events. What's going to make people come out to, like, of course, people come to your party because it sounds amazing. And
Well,
it's a huge investment, which is
well,
worth it.
that you hit the nail on the head. First of all, stop the whole word customer appreciation. Nobody gives a shit. Don't use that word ever again. I just don't think that that's you could have a customer appreciation, but it just seems incredibly uh,
Lame.
generic, plain. It just seems like okay, your customers. I don't want you to be my customer. I want you to be my friend. I want you to be my buddy. I want you to enjoy something. I want to come up with content that really truly matters to you. When
Good
I
point.
put on an event, I can tell right now the notion of time management is not as sexy as the guerrilla marketing. We already see more people signing up for the guerrilla marketing, or we've done other things making money on the absentee owners. Oh my God, we have people. We got one member here who's 75% of his business is absentee owners, and we're going to be having that meeting next month. Wow, I want that business too. What does he do? It's a packed meeting. Again, the perception is so what you need to first do, Paula, is come up with what is the kind of content that everyone's going to want, and then try and deliver on that. But I don't want to go too far into this just because we've got a few other questions. Livette, go ahead.
So last night I was thinking about a couple things on how I could use AI. First, I think I've already told you all this that I'm basically a listing
Agent.
agent. I don't work with buyers. So I was thinking about creating what I realized that all of our training seems to be more for buyers. How to, have the buyers have the advantage in the situation. That's what it seems like to me. Not here, I'm just talking about with my company. So I was thinking about creating a book like people like giveaways. I'm currently working on my website now, and I want it to be to be able to capture leads. So I wanted to maybe have AI write a little book, for home sellers, a guide on how to, all the things to expect during the home selling process, give that away. And then I was thinking about, I don't know if this sounds crazy, how they have first time home buyer classes. I was thinking about doing the same thing, but for home sellers on how to educate them
Sure.
on how to sell in their house, how to pick the right agent, walk them through the whole process in just a couple hours, maybe. I didn't know. How does that sound?
I mean, it sounds great if you could get the people. Again, you know, anybody know Dane Cook, the comedian? Okay. He sold out Madison Square Garden 2 nights in a row, and I swear to God, I don't get a single joke. I don't understand what's funny, but he must be funny. He must be funny to a certain group of people. Whether I like it or not is completely irrelevant. Dane Cook sold out Madison Square Garden 2 nights in a row. And one guy, no band, no big rock star, nothing. I mean, it just goes to show. So, Levette, if you've got something that you think is going to work, whether I think it's a great idea or not, I think people make the terrible mistake of poo-pooing something where the world is very big. I think it sounds like a very good idea, actually, but it's only a great idea based on the content that you actually produce, and if you're able to get, actually get people in and seeing it. I want to show you guys one last thing. This is with Claude AI, and I think it's kind of important here. One of the things that Claude's has, this is Claude, it's by a company called Anthropic. Unlike some of the other ones, I love Claude. I actually like it more than ChatGPT at this point. I think that it's just a very easy system to navigate. And one of the things that it has is projects. And in this project, let's take a look at this and break it down. It's got project knowledge. This meeting right now is being recorded. It's being recording on Otter. And that recording is going to be put in here, and I'm going to get a summary of that meeting. And that summary goes right into the project knowledge base. So for those that want to write a book, I could say something like, can you write, or here, so based on what is in your knowledge base, can you write write the following? 3 Facebook posts with emojis about with random ideas on how a realtor can make money. Do the same thing for X. I'm not going to say formally Twitter. I'm getting sick of saying that. Do the same thing for X. Also make a script, narration only, that is for my AI avatar. Keep the script to 45 seconds in length. Also write a blog post. Anything else? Just trying to think. Okay, let's just see what this actually comes up with. Now, so it's got this in the knowledge base. Okay, so here we go. My Facebook posts. Pro tip, send 1 CMA a day via FedEx to homeowners in your target area. Especially delivery makes your analysis stand out and gets opened. I've seen 40% plus response rates with a strategy. Those of you who went to my CMA a day meeting probably remember that. Here's a unique idea. Create a local pet-focused social media account. We talked about that. The dogs of Boca Raton. Want to stand out? Partner with a local estate attorney. So you could just cut and paste all of this and put that into your Facebook. Ah, here comes X. They've done 3 things for X. Here's my 45-second avatar. Hey there, let's talk about game-changing approach to luxury real estate. Now I could put that into my AI avatar. Again, we will do that again in future meetings. And here's my blog post. So this is not licensed to just ignore everything. It's not licensed just to blindly let the AI take care of it. But damn it, I don't want to hear any of you tell me ever again that you don't have anything to write about. It's just out there. There's just stuff. And if I want to get granular, what I'm going to do immediately after this meeting, I'm going to go to the autopilot. I'm going to get the transcript and description. I'm going to send that to Daniel. He's going to take the video of what's been recorded today. He's going to put that into the Rain Nation page for our members to be able to go and watch at any point, and they'll be able to take a look at that. We're going to repurpose a lot of this for a blog that he's going to post. We're going to put that in various parts of social media, all of which was created by us. You were an absolute participant in the creation of that content. That was what the AI has put together. And now, Levette, I have an unfair advantage. I've got a mastermind. Okay, I've got all this great content that I could now make into a book, and I'm planning on it. I'm planning on it because we've captured all that information. Think dynamically, guys. You know, and for those that hate AI, like my daughter, who's a journalism major, and I know that she feels as though her future is threatened. It is, I don't sugarcoat it. It's the wrong major today. She's smart. She's going to find something to do. Maybe she'll become a professor. Maybe who knows what she's going to do. Very smart kid.
Communication people will rule the world and still a valid degree.
Okay, listen, and like I said, I'm just saying that if you want to take a look, here's another thing that you could do with AI. Oh gosh, I know everyone wants to get out of here, so do I, but let me just show you one other thing that you could put in there. I am worried about career interruptions due to AI. On a scale of 1 to 10. One being unaffected and 10 being wiped out. Please tell me how the following careers will fare in the next 10 and then 20 years. Okay, here are the careers. Realtor, CPA, Uber driver, lawyer. Somebody give me something else.
Restaurateur.
News writers.
Okay. Anything else? Give me one more.
Marketing people
Okay.
or
Okay, here. So now let's take a look at what this, let's see what Claude says about this. 10-year horizon. Realtor, 4 out of 10. Personal relationships, property tours, and emotional support during major life decisions remain valuable. AI will enhance but not replace the trust building, blah, blah, blah. CPA, 6 out of 10. Automation, basic accounting and tax preparation, value shifts. Uber driver, 8 out of 10. Remember, 10 is you're completely done. Autonomous vehicles likely to be widespread in many urban areas. Okay. Lawyer, 5 out of 10. Life insurance, 6 out of 10. Restaurateur, Terry, 3 out of 10. My daughter hates this. Journalist, 7 out of 10. Marketing associates. Now let's take a look at the 20-year horizon. Realtor, we're at 6 out of 10. CPA, 8 out of 10. Uber drivers done in 20 years. Look at that. Lawyer, 7 out of 10. Life insurance salesman, 8 out of 10. Restaurateur, 4 out of 10. Journalists, 8 out of 10. Marketing associates. Now, let's do one other thing. This is what I love to do. I'm going to take this. I'm going to ask the same question of another AI. Okay. So now, of course, it's taking longer than I'd like. 3 and 5. So it's giving a very different viewpoint. 6 and 8. Again, this is just their opinion, and you could ask it. AI is non-deterministic. I think what I want you to take from this, let's see what it says about Uber. 8, 10. So it's saying that in 20 years it's done. At least we could see the comparison between the last one. Lawyer, 4 and 7. Try these little exercises, guys. It's interesting. And if this number scares you up here, understand that there is going to be realtors. There will be realtors. Just for God's sake, stop saying, I hate this, or it's no good, or stop crying about a sunset. We've got to be able to embrace this. It's like people who bitch about Zillow. I can't stand Zillow, but I know that it's a reality, and I have to keep up a profile on it, and I have to get reviews on it, because that's the reality that we live in. Okay? That's something to actually think about. Okay, that's the meeting. We went way longer than I wanted to. Daniel, you got everyone's email address that wants to get the thing? Guys, Marty, great to see you. I'm glad you were able to make it. I hope you enjoyed it. Dora, I hope you enjoyed it today. Lisa, great to have you back. Octavia, fantastic. If any of you want to get together, please do let me know. You could send Daniel an email, daniel@boganhomes.com, and certainly make an appointment. I am a professional coach. I am working with a lot of you one-on-one. I also head up my own team here in Boca Raton, Florida. So if any of you are curious about the marketing service that we're offering and the real differences that we're doing, people are hiring us to not only coach them, but if you don't like the idea of doing it yourself, we'll do the work. So there's that. Let me know. Great to see everyone. Thank you for sticking around, and I hope to see all of you on Friday for another exciting episode of Rain Nation. Thanks, guys.